You're welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Sunday Watch, and we're reaching you live from our studio here in Ikeja, Lagos. You can also watch Lagos Television on the go. All you need to do is to download the LTV app on your Android devices or any of your device, so you can get to watch us from across the entire world. Now, when you flip through or you go through the family memoir, you ask yourself, what exactly do I want, loaded in this, package? Or what have you impute in that memory that will make it a memorable one? One that when you look back, you will be not only satisfied, but also fulfilled. And that's why today we are considering, this topic, family, values, and friendship. I have our guests that are waiting anxiously to lend their voices to this topical issue. I have Mrs. Esther Babashola Adesada. She is an educator and also a married counselor. You're most welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
And thank you so much for sparing your time this morning to be with us on the show.
It's my pleasure.
All right.
She's very beautiful.
She is. And also, as a compliment, she's looking elegant.
Wow.
Yes.
Thank you.
She is. All right.
Appreciate that.
I also have Mr. Bolariwa Olatunbosun. He, our father, he is joining us via Zoom. Good morning, sir, and thank you for joining us on Sunday Watch.
Hi, good morning.
All right. How are you this morning, and how is everyone down there?
I'm very well, thank you. Your voice is a little bit low, so if the volume can be increased so that I can hear you clearly, it will be great.
All right, I'll try as much. Okay, can you hear me clearly now?
A little bit better.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. So let me keep it rolling from you. We're looking at family, values, and friendship. Let's start it this way. What will you describe as the values that are capable of promoting the family, especially its foundation?
It's an open-ended topic, and we can't really do justice to it with this short program. But the Yoruba has an adage that says it's only one hand that gives birth to a child, whereas it is 200 hands that raised it. When we look at that proverb very well, it says a lot about how family value are inculcated into our upbringing. Not only as an African, all is a universal and global thing. So that's why we have the word like brothers, sisters, cousins, nephew, aunties, uncles, and so on and so forth. All these people, one way or the other, has a role to play in our lives. Sometimes the roles are positive, sometimes the roles are negative. But at the end of the day, a child that is growing within this circle, rather than a child that is isolated from the family, has a lot to learn. Some of us, has been my own case, I think I've started living with relatives from the age of 6. And I live with stepmom again from the age of 11, stepmoms, not stepmom. And the value each of them inculcated in me is following me till today. Most of the things I know, I learned that I'm doing today came from what I've been able to grab from this type of background and upbringing. So the value that families and relatives, even education and the society has to play in us has a lot to do in how we grow up and what our society is becoming today.
Thank you very much, sir. Let me come quickly to Mrs. Adesada. Now, he already split it into two. We have the negative, we have the positive. But first, let's look at the negative impact, the values, do in raising children in the family.
Okay, thank you very much. When we talk about
The family. First,
The
let's go
family.
through, yes, the family setting, then the values.
when we talk about a family setting, you know, it consists of a father, mother, the children, then it extends to the other members of the family, extended members of the family. All of these people have a role to play in the life of a child. If the values that the family share with the children, if they are negative, definitely it will rub off on the children. As a family, the fear of God is very key. If the father and the mother, if they refuse to instill the fear of God in the children, it will definitely have a negative impact on them. And just as we see in our society now, that a lot of parents don't have time for their children. A lot of parents are divided in terms of when we talk about religion, when we talk about how to raise children in the fear of God. Be it regardless of our religion now, you know, every one of us have diverse religious inclinations.
Yes.
So each family from the foundation have to come to agreement as to how and what we are instilling in these children.
Okay.
You know, there are families where we have father and mother in different religious sector now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And each religious sect have their doctrines and whatever you call it, what they instill in their members. So imagine the father is from a Muslim background, the mom is from a Christian background. They both have to come together to agree. Because of the differences, you pick from here, you pick from there. Because from my own experience, and as an educator, I realized that in recent times, we have more families that are from different religious sectors now.
Yes.
And it's having negative effects on the upbringing of the children. Because the father will say, I want you to go my way. The mom will say, I want you to go my way. At the end of the day, they don't get to agree, and the children will be neutral. A lot of them don't have the fear of God because they are not, you did not place them on that path
Early enough.
And that is a major issue that we have in our society currently. And it's breaking the family. A lot of couples don't agree in terms of religion. How do you want to instill the fear of God in children that you and your wife, you have not even agreed on what you want to do? You understand? Then another value is this role modeling. Role modeling. If you no matter what you say to a child, no matter the length of counsel that you give to a child, if you are not practicing what you are preaching, you have failed as a parent.
Yeah, they want to see you do it.
Children of nowadays, they are not given to too much talk.
At all.
They get disconnected. After a few minutes, you keep talking, they are not there. They're just sitting down there. But they want to see what you're doing.
Yeah.
They want to watch your moves. Imagine a parent that constantly get aggressive at home, and you sit your child down and you are preaching peace. How are you practicing peace? You lie constantly. You tell them to lie on your behalf.
Yeah.
They see you on call.
Teach
you
them
keep
to
lying.
lie.
You are teaching them to
Nagging.
lie subconsciously.
Yeah.
A father that is involved in the domestic violence, they watch you fight. They watch you fight all of the time. How do you want such a child to go into the world and show love to people? So they are already passively aggressive. So they are just looking for the opportunity to unleash whatever you have implanted in them. So all of these values, even without talking, the children pick up. They pick up gradually from the formative stage. So values like respect, honesty, discipline, all of these start from the home. So if these are missing, you lose your children. It's a gradual process.
It is.
The Almighty God in His magnanimity will continue to lead parents.
Amen.
But then let me bring you quickly back to the issue of different religions in the home. The mother and the father, before they became mother and father, they were lovers.
Yes.
At that stage, do you think it is appropriate for them to decide or agree which of the religion the children will go with before the offspring start coming, rather than putting it on well, when we get there we will decide? What negative vibe, you just mentioned the negative vibe. We have also seen homes that have different, that bring up wonderful children.
Yeah.
So what will be your counseling now for such homes, especially for those who are about going into the marriage and they are from different religious inclines?
Thank you very much. The issue of religion is one thing that is very crucial when we talk about building the family. So it is important that intending couples sit and talk about it. Then the depth of your religiosity too matters. In the course of your discussion, during your premarital journey, you sit to discuss. While discussing, you would have known the depth of the commitment of your partner in terms of religion. We have nominal believers, and we are very deep believers in both key religions in Nigeria. We have people who are very free. They can always associate with people of other religion easily. And we have people who maybe if they believe, once they are inside, they will convert the person to the other side. All of these issues have to be thoroughly discussed so that at the end of the day, there will be no regret and division. Then you talked about which religion the child will have to adopt when they start coming into the marriage. It's also important that you discuss it. Because I've seen couples who decide that, okay, they want their children to choose while they are growing.
Okay.
They can take them to the church, take them to the mosque.
At the end of the
At the end of the day, they will decide. In fact, that is what is common to many marriages. And there are some that decide to adopt, especially the wife. You are the one coming into the home. You are the one coming to marry the man.
Yes.
So you have to go by the ways of your husband. So if you, as a Christian woman, want to marry a Muslim man, you know that you are
prepare your
automatically
mind.
going to be a Muslim, except you have discussed it at length and your husband agrees that he has no problem with you going for your religion. So you have to discuss whether the children will be Muslim. There are even some instances where the husband will allow the woman to practice her religion. But we insist that my children
will go with it.
will go with my own religion. I have seen several instances like that. As a matter of fact, some of these children end up growing up to appreciate the mother's religion. By the time they become an adult, they just switch.
So it
it is very important to discuss thoroughly, because if there is no agreement, the scripture says that can two work together except they agree. So if there is no agreement, there will definitely be division. And the division will extend to the children.
That's true.
At the end of the day, you see some of them decide that they are not even practicing any.
You're right.
All right. Thank you very, very much, Mr. Disada. Now let me go over to Mr. Olatubosun Bolarinwa. Okay, sir. I know you heard every of her analysis. I want to ask, what will be your own take? She raised the issue of parents practicing different religion. Does it really have negative impact, as in the real sense now, have negative impact on children or other members of the family? Can you hear me clearly, Mr. Bolariwa?
The first school that any child goes to is the parenting school. That is what happened from home. So between the age of 6 months to 5 years, the children are at home with their parents. And that's the best time they are learning things that is going to form how they are going to behave the moment they start going out there to get more knowledge. So if there is a deficiency on the part of the father or mother, I was talking about parents that are lying in the presence of their children. There are a lot of bad stuff that parent does in the presence of their children as a result of their own upbringing. That is the parent upbringing, and unconsciously not knowing that they are passing it on to their children. So the Yoruba people say, if you are born, you have to reborn yourself as a before you become a parent. So it goes a long way in how children are formed. I noticed that 8 out of 10 children that went through domestic violence in their homes, that is the father abusing the mom violently or vice versa, tends to go out there to start abusing people right from school, abusing their girlfriend, and later in marriage there is domestic violence. So there's a lot of role to play for us as a parents to actually look at ourselves and do a periodical check on ourselves. I heard a lot about religion, but I disagree, because a religion comes into the life of a man that is already formed. They say church is not the place, church or mosque is not the place where you are healed. It's a place for sick people hoping to get better. So before religion, what is happening at home? There's an adage that goes, charity begins at home. If you have to be charitable out there, it all depends on how the amount of charity that has been imputed into you from home. So what parent does at home under the roof has a lot of role to play in how a child becomes and eventually form the value that this child is going to bring out to the society.
All right, let me remain with you, sir. There are a lot of factors that have the tendencies of influencing the attitude of children, especially in today's world where we have the social media, we have, the older ones in the community, older ones in the family, who one way or the other have a way of influencing child's upbringing. At this time, sir, I want you to, analyze how people can get positive vibes in a situation or in a society in which we found ourselves today. I consider the social media, I consider, they call them area mothers, area fathers, and some, she mentioned, I'm not talking about looking up to someone for, for modeling, like as a model or mentorship, no. But, some vibes that are negative in the society. How can the child in today's world escape such, negative attitudes? And what role does the parents have to play?
I will still go back to my earlier point. You see, the house you are sitting in right now has a foundation. That is the hall you are sitting in. And that foundation has a lot of role to play in how the place is serving you, the roof over your head, and how safe you are in that place. All these are in the foundation of that building. The same thing applies to a child and society. I don't want us to mix it together. You see, for a child to become what a child becomes, the foundation, the Bible says, if the foundation is destroyed, what can the righteous do? The foundation at home is the bedrock of value. Either we want to accept it or not. Social media and every other thing came. We have the Gen Z, the children that were born after the advent of the social media, who tends to Google everything their parent tells them and use that. And it all starts from somewhere. There are some children, I received a visitor one day, and the daughter of the visitor was busy taking selfie all over my house. And the next few days, I started seeing my house and her picture on the social media. I tried to go through a thread and I realized that there is nothing about her parents' house on the social media.
That's
And
fake
And
lifestyle.
I felt
Fake
somehow
lifestyle.
that these children did not appreciate what the parents have.
Yes.
And if I'm a parent and I'm seeing that, I would like to sit that child down and let him know that your charity must begin at home and you must value what you are, portray what you have. I remember a day my son went to post with somebody's car and I saw it on a thread and I asked him why. The car is not yours. The location of the car is not yours. What are you telling the world? And I told him to take it down. Post with what you have. And it all has to do with the issue of contentment.
Yeah.
And we cannot let contentment from outside.
It's from home.
Contentment begins at home.
Yeah.
So before we accuse the world and the advent of social media of how it is influencing our children, the onus, the responsibility, the duty of what we do at home, what syllabus do we have for our children? We grew up in a home where it is not flowers that is hanging on the wall. It is words of wisdom, quotations, and other stuff
That's
that
true.
are on our parents' walls. And either we like it or not, some of those things still stuck to our memory.
Yes.
And we remember. I remember one in my father's sitting room that says, you do not live your life to satisfy any other person. You don't live up to people's expectation. And that follows me today. It may not fit in very well with the society, but I don't live up to people's expectation. I try to value myself and encourage myself to bring up a good value that will suit me and suit the society where I live in. Just
That's
yesterday,
all.
I went out, and while standing at a bus stop, somebody threw something, a banana peel, out on the road at a traffic light. I picked it up and I threw it back on their bonnet.
I love that.
And I think they were brought up in a very good home. They didn't say anything to me, no abuse. They just drove on. I'm sure they'll go and take it off somewhere
Yeah.
else. That was I'm part of the children that was brought up during the era of Buhari war against indiscipline. And how we were made to pick up paper not only when we were sweeping
good.
the school compound. Today we have private nursery and primary school where they employ cleaners to clean the toilet and the school compound. And our children are now using dishwasher to wash clothes or their plates and washing machine to wash
Their clothes.
clothes. The difference is there, and I want to go back to parents and homes to let us realize that if we want good value out here, we must rewrite the syllabus we're using to raise our children at home. It is the foundation that we put at home that the society out there and social media builds upon.
Thank you very, very much, sir. I saw, all through, you seem to sync with his
can relate.
opinion.
Yes.
And yes, I want to hear your view. And also, in addition, where will you place, friendship in family values sustainability?
Thank you very much. I actually agree completely with what other speakers said when it comes to family value and discipline. I think we came after their own era, and we grew up to communal parenting, where everybody nurtures the child.
Yeah.
Everybody nurtures the child. Even the child that is coming from a face me,
I slap
face
you,
house,
yes.
and those that are coming from mansion. I was actually I was raised in a bungalow.
Good.
Yet we come to the street, we relate with other people
Freely.
who live
Everybody freely.
Freely.
in face-to-face houses.
Freely.
And their mothers correct us. As a matter of fact, their mothers are watching us. By the time you see your mom just tell you when she comes back from the market, like, Lagbaja, at 3 p.m., where were you?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
want to lie.
Ah.
But by the time you realize that Iyamusili must have
Saw
told,
you.
must have told your
my
mom that
mom,
she saw
yes.
you where you were buying akara.
You keep
quickly
quiet.
Straighten up.
you quickly straighten up and begin to tell the truth.
Wow.
So those days, the community was raising children. But now, as a matter of fact, I think exposure, social media, education, and many other factors has fast eroded communal parenting. in that when you even try to correct someone else's child, the mother can come to your house
and fight
and unleash terror on you
That's
for correcting
unleash terror.
Yeah.
Yes.
the child. So it's an intentional thing. It is the parenting now goes beyond just who gave birth to you. We have to go back to that communal parenting if we really want
If we desire.
to make our society better.
Okay. How about friendship now? What
Now-
influence do they have on our children? The family
Yes.
in its entirety.
Just like the other speaker said, the value that you build in your home as a child is what the child will take outside and blend it with whatever the other child who is coming to be his or her friend
It's coming with.
is coming with.
All right.
And at the end of the day, you sift the bad, you inculcate the good, and by the time you realize that you and your friends, you are having shared common values, you will agree.
You will
and the
agree.
friendship will move
be
on.
strengthened.
And by the time you realize that the values that my parents inculcated in me, my friend does not have it, what will you do? You will move away.
Okay.
Values like respect, you notice that your friend disregard people. You make conscious effort to correct him or other. In our home, we respect people. We don't talk like this. Honesty. You let him or her know.
best policy.
Honesty is the best policy. Forget that one. Honesty, the society does
Exactly.
not. You and I have to make it better.
We have to make it better. Let me
Yes.
hand it over now to my co-anchor.
adúpẹ́ láàárọ̀ yìí. Mo sọ fún yín lẹ́ẹ̀kan mo ní adúpẹ́ ní ọwọ́ Ọlọ́run torí pé ó ṣeun nítorí tí àánú ẹ̀ dúró láéláé. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni torí pé ilé ìta ń sọ láàárọ̀ tí ń gbà fẹ́ràn ìfìtìn láti ẹnu First Lady Anita Buhari. Ẹ ti gbọ́n tí ìyá wa Adésádà tí wọ́n ti ń bá wa sọ láti àárọ̀. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni arábìnrin tó rẹwà gidi àbẹ́ẹ̀rí ẹ̀rín wọn ni. Ìṣọwọ́sọ̀rọ̀ wọn gan tiẹ̀ ogún tutù mọ́yàn lára dúpẹ́. Bàbá wa Bọ́lárìnwá Ọlátúwọ̀sún àwọn náà ti ṣe kí ni wọ́n ti fọ òyìnbó ọ̀hún láàárọ̀ yìí. Inú mi wá dùn pé wọ́n bá mi ń fọ àwọn Yorùbá yẹn wọ́n ya alagi òyìnbó mọ́ wọ́n wá bá wa túká torí wọ́n dì báyìí lólóyìnbó ni wọ́n á túká Yorùbá náà nítorí bẹ́ẹ̀ náà rí fà Yorùbá says Yorùbá adage mọ̀lódà mọ̀ gbébọ̀ lórí ìpele tí Yorùbá ń gbà bá débẹ̀ àwa débẹ̀ náà báyìí ẹ jẹ́ mo bọ́ sórí ọ̀dọ̀ bàbá wa torí pé àtọ̀dọ̀ àwọn dáàdì náà láti kọ́kọ́ bẹ̀ bàbá wa Bọ́lárìnwá Ọlátúbọ̀ sílẹ̀ ti wà ń bẹ̀.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni màá mú wa ń bẹ̀.
Ẹ mà káàárọ̀ sa
ẹ káàárọ̀ o.
ẹ kú àsìkò yìí o.
ẹ ṣeun mà.
Ẹ bá ń káwọn èèyàn wa káàkiri orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà náà ẹ bá ń kí wọn lédè Yorùbá.
ilé gbogbo èyí tó ń gbọ́ wa nílé lóko lódò ẹ kú dédé àsìkò yìí o. ẹ ṣeun tẹ̀ ń gbọ́.
Ẹ pàtẹ́wọ́ fúnra yín kárí iná. Inú mi dùn ìrẹ́rí bẹ́ẹ̀ jẹ́ bá wa dá sí ọ̀rọ̀ ilé àárọ̀ lédè Gẹ̀ẹ́sì inú mi dùn gan-an ni torí àwọn tó ń gbọ́ àwọn gangan ni ètò yìí wà fún Ọlọ́run fẹ́ sọ pé kì í ṣàwárí Yorùbá torí àwa Yorùbá a mọ̀ sí ń ṣe díẹ̀díẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n jẹ́ láyé ẹ̀yin olóyìnbó yẹn ẹ̀yin ni oníkíni na me and my family lè ń bá ká tí ò dẹ̀ lè ràn wá lọ́wọ́ níbi tá a dé dúró yìí tá a bá níbi tí ẹ pé wọ́n ti kẹ̀ tí wọ́n ti bàjẹ́ jù ẹ̀yin me and my family náà ni kí wá ni láàárọ̀ yìí ẹ jẹ́ ká padà sínú ilé òun ni wípé ọ̀nà wo la fẹ́ gbà tó àwọn ọmọ wa ní orílẹ̀-èdè tá a wà yìí lásìkò tá a wà yìí báyìí ṣe mọ̀ pásìkò kan la wà yìí wọ́n dẹ̀ sọ wípé àṣà níta ìsọ náà ni ẹni táyé bá ti ṣe kí ni táyé bá ti bí òun náà ni ká máa tọ́ irọ́ Ọlọ́run ló fún wa bí ó dẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ fún wa tọ́ àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ wo ló yẹ ká mú ká yàn gẹ́gẹ́ bí òbí àwọn ìwà wo ló yẹ ká yàn láàyò láti fi tọ́ àwọn ọmọ yìí ẹ bá ń dá ẹ kọjú sí wọn kẹ́ ẹ fún wọn lésì sà ṣé ẹ gbọ́ mi.
ẹ ṣeun mọ olóòtú òwe Yorùbá bọ̀ ó sọ pé ilé la ti ń kó ẹ̀ṣọ́ ròde.
ìyẹn ṣọ́ àdúpẹ́.
ìbálòpọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀.
ló bá ní.
mo rẹ̀ tún ti gbọ́ gbogbo àwọn oríṣiríṣi àkànlò èdè àti òwe náà.
gbogbo ẹ̀ lẹ́lu.
mi tí ì rí tako òwe yìí pé ilé la ti ń kó ẹ̀ṣọ́
ròde.
Yorùbá náà ló dẹ̀ tún bọ̀ tí wọ́n tún sọ pé tá a bá bí ni à ń túnra ẹni bí.
ó tún bí kó tún bí.
ilé ìbọn fún òbí wa kò sẹ́ni tó kọjá àbáwí kò sẹ́ni tó kọjá àtúnbí. olórin kan kọrin ó ní ìyá àti bàbá wọn bírun da.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni òun gangan kéwọ̀ ni ẹlẹ́ọ̀kọ́ àwọn gangan.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni sọtaba ní ká tún wò ó dáadáa ọ̀pọ̀ bí ìgboro ṣe máa rí bí ìlú ṣe máa rí irú èèyàn tá a fẹ́ ní tó jọba lórí wa irú tíṣà tí ó
kọ́ mọ́
wa dókítà tí ó tọ́jú wa ìpìlẹ̀ iṣẹ́ gbogbo àwọn wọ̀nyí bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti inú ilé wa láti ọwọ́ bàbá àti àwọn ọ̀wà kan wà tó jẹ́ pé abínibíni ntẹ̀yàn rí tí bàbá ẹ̀ ń ṣe ntẹ̀yàn rí tí yẹ ń ṣe tó náà wá jogún ẹ̀ nínú ẹ̀jẹ̀ tó dẹ̀ tó mú ní ìwà ó pọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ bá rí ọmọkùnrin tó lu ìyàwó ẹ̀ nínú ilé ẹ lọ wo ilé tó ti jáde wọn
ẹ wo dádì ẹ
ẹ lọ wo ìyá àti bàbá ẹ lọ wádìí ìtàn yẹn dáadáa ẹ rí pẹ̀lú ẹ ó ti ṣẹlẹ̀ rí níbẹ̀ kó tó di pé òun náà fi ṣe títí lórí ọmọ tá a bá rí tó ń jalè ọmọ tá a bá rí tó olórí ìkànnì àwọn Gbẹ́ngà Adébóyè ló sọ ó ní gbogbo nǹkan tó wù kẹjà máa ṣe láyé ó fi jọ ànábì kan ni.
ó fi jọ ànábì kan ni o ànábì bàbá rẹ̀ ni ó sì fi jọ pé máa jẹ́ ìyẹn bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
ọdún mi ká pò ó dáadáa èèyàn fi ń jọ nǹkan ni àfijọ́ wà abínibí wà tó ó kan dandan fún àwọn òbí náà láti tóra wọn bí àti láti máa yẹ ara wọn wò yorùbá ní tọ́mọ ò bá jọ ṣòkòtò.
ní ó jọ fídíò pa á ẹ̀sìn mo dúpẹ́ bàbá mi.
ó ń bá láti ibẹ̀ yẹn dẹ́ ìwà táwa náà ń wù nínú ilé ká parọ́ díẹ̀ ká jalè díẹ̀
abẹ́rẹ́ nǹkan
ká máa fi wọ́n fún àwọn ọmọ wa tí ìyá ọmọ bá ti dé sọ fún pé mi ò sí ilé tó lè jẹ́ pé ẹ wà nílé gbogbo àwọn nǹkan náà àti gbé igi àwọn ọmọ tí ń gbagiri ilé ẹ̀ mọ́ wa lọ́wọ́ tí ọmọ bá rí pé òbí òun kó mú nǹkan ní nǹkan ó mú nǹkan níbọ̀ tí ò kì í ṣe tiẹ̀ wọlé ó ṣeé ṣe kọ́mọ náà bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí fẹ́wọ́ náà láti
kò wá ní fẹ́wọ́ bàbá tó gbalẹ̀ onílẹ̀ tó gbowó tó gbalẹ̀ tó gbalẹ̀ tí ò fún wọn lówó.
bàbá rò fún mi á ṣe mi sí
ló bá tán.
tó bá dẹ̀ wá tó bá rò tàbí pẹ́ńsù tí mo mú dání ó yàtọ̀ sí eléyìí tó ń rà fún mi wàhálà dé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ìgbà ló tẹ̀lé mi padà lọ skul pé ọmọ wo ló ní
bàbá dáadáa
fún ọmọ mi owó ẹ bá mi wádìí
bàbá gidi nìyẹn
gbogbo orú àwọn bẹ́ẹ̀ ló jẹ́ kí àwa lè nìkan ní nǹkan tá a lè pè ní ẹ̀mí ìtẹ́lọ́rùn
bẹ́ẹ̀ni
nǹkan tá a ní kó kú wa lójú kó tó wa ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ nígboro lónìí ó dá sórí indiscipline ẹ má bínú pé mo sọ òyìnbó díẹ̀ àti àìní ìwà ìbàjẹ́ àti ẹ̀mí àìní ìtẹ́lọ́rùn
àìlèkóra níjàánu
ojúmọ́ nǹkan oní nǹkan
bẹ́ẹ̀ni
ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti ilé ó ti wà nínú ìjọba tá a ti ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa corruption ìkówójẹ
bẹ́ẹ̀ni
tí owó tá a bá tó wa tá a dẹ̀ fi ń tó àwọn ọmọ wa tá a dẹ̀ jẹ́ kó yé wọn pé ń tá a ní lélẹ̀
èyí tí mo ní ni ń lè jalè tọ́ jẹ́ tẹ́ ọlọ́run
kálukú lẹ́nu.
ẹ ṣe gan ni bàbá wa Bọ́lárìnwá Ọlátúnbọ̀sún mo ní àká ọgbọ́n yín á túbọ̀ máa fẹ̀ sí ọlọ́run á dá yín sí fún wa inú mi dùn gan ni ní àárọ̀ yìí ẹ jẹ́ ká bọ́ sí ọ̀dọ̀ ìyá wa bẹ́ẹ̀ ni arábìnrin Adésádà
wọ́n fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ sí.
àwọn gan fẹ́ dá sí.
àwọn máa dá sí ṣùgbọ́n bàbá sì fẹ́ sọ díẹ̀ sí.
bàbá ẹ gbọ́ bàbá wọ́n ní ó dàbẹ́ ni pé ó tún kù ní kù.
màmá wọ́n wà ní sẹpẹ́.
ó dà ṣé mo wí pé wọ́n máa ń sọ ó tún kọrin kan.
ẹ jẹ́ kí ìyá wa sọ̀rọ̀ náà kí a bá lè fọ̀rọ̀ jomitoro ọ̀rọ̀.
kẹfí jomitoro ẹ̀ bàbá Ọlátúnbọ̀sún ọlọ́run láàárọ̀ ìrìn ìfẹ́ mo gbé fún yín gbòòsà lẹ́ẹ̀mẹ́ta ó ti ga jù ẹ ṣe gan ni màmá wa wọ́n ní kẹdá sí ní tó wà nílẹ̀ yìí àbí wọ́n sọ wọ́n ní tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ wọ́n máa ń sọ òrògbò kan láàrin ìlú wa ní ogun tí ya gbọ́n lọ́mọ ọ̀ràn bàbá ń kọ́ ṣé bàbá náà ò gbọ́n tiẹ̀ ni ẹ bá ń bá wọn sọ.
ẹ ṣeun tó.
ẹ jẹ́ tìyá náà láṣà ń pariwo lójoojúmọ́ sí bàbá gan kọ́ mo jẹ́ pé bàbá àtìyá ni wọ́n jọ ń bí àwọn ọmọ nígbà bá dẹ̀ ṣe làwọn ọmọ ẹ̀mí kanlẹ̀ wọ́n mí kanlẹ̀ lórí ẹ̀ òwú tí ya gbọ́n lọ mọ́ ọ̀ràn ṣé bàbá ògùn òwú kankan náà ẹ wojú wọn.
ẹ jẹ́ kí n kọ́kọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú òwe Yorùbá kan tó ní
ó wí pé
ìwà rere
èso ènìyàn
òun lẹ̀ṣọ́ ènìyàn.
àdúpẹ́.
ọmọ téèyàn bá dẹ̀ fi ìwà rere tọ́ ló máa dàgbà tá a di ọkọ tó dáa
bẹ́ẹ̀ni
tá a wá di bàbá tó dáa
bẹ́ẹ̀ni
tá a lè tọ́ ọmọ tó dáa
á di mọ̀mọ́ gan tó dáa.
ṣùgbọ́n ó ṣe ni láàánú pé àwùjọ wa ilé ò tòrò mọ́ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ilé ló ti fọ́ká
ìlòdì
ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ilé ò tòrò mọ́
kí ni tó ṣẹlẹ̀ kí ló fa
kò
ìyá
sí ìbálòpọ̀ láàrin ọkọ àti aya, kò sí ìrẹ́pọ̀. Ọ̀làjú wà lára tó ṣokùnfà eléyìí, àìníbẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run náà wà lára ẹ̀. Ojú kòkòrò, agídí, oríṣiríṣi gbogbo ẹ̀ ló kún ìwà tó jẹ́ pé tí ò bá sí ìyá àti bàbá nínú ilé tí wọ́n wu ìwà dáadáa, ìwà wo lọmọ fẹ́ mú?
ìwà wo lọmọ fẹ́ mú?
Ẹ wo àwùjọ wa báyìí sìn, gẹ́gẹ́ bí olùkọ́, mo lè ka ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ òbí tí mo mọ̀ yí pé wọ́n fi ọwọ́ sí àwọn ìwà pálapàla tí àwọn ọmọ.
ẹ̀yẹ mùsùlùmí inú mi dùn lórí ibi tí wọ́n ẹ máa gbọ́ bí tí ẹ ṣe àrí olùkọ́ ní ìyá ìlú òótọ́ abẹ́ ìgbọ́ bí tí wọ́n ti wọlé wọ́n ní nílé ìwé gangan ó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ lọ, àwọn òbí gangan àwọn ni wọ́n fọwọ́ sí. ṣé bàbá wa Látúbọ̀sún ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ ìgbà bẹ́ẹ̀ tó rẹ̀ sọ nígbà tẹ́yìn mú nǹkan nílé ìwé ní bàbá yín tẹ̀lé yín lọ ń gbà yẹn ó yẹ tún gbóhùn sókè, ṣẹ́yìn gbà wípé lóòótọ́ àti òdodo àwọn òbí gan ran àwọn ọmọ lọ́wọ́ fún ìwà ìbàjẹ́?
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo gbà. tẹ bá wo nísìnyí tẹ rí pọmọ kan ń hùwà jàǹdùkú, àwọn nǹkan tó kàn àkọ́kọ́ wá ti ní lọ́kàn ni pé ṣé inú ilé kan náà dẹ̀ nílé ti jáde. tẹ bá rí obìnrin tó múra ní ìmúra tí ò tọ́, ṣé ìyá àti bàbá ilé ìdẹ́ rí nígbà tó ń jáde?
ṣó múra báyìí jáde ńlé?
ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ nǹkan tẹ́ ń ṣe ni ìyá wa tó wà ní stúdíò ni wọ́n ti sọ̀rọ̀ nípa ẹ̀ pé àìsí ìrẹ́pọ̀, ìbálòpọ̀, ọ̀rọ̀ àtijẹ àti mu tí ò kì í jẹ́ kí ìyá àti bàbá ríbi mójútó àwọn ọmọ dáadáa, ó wà lára nǹkan tó bọ̀ ń ba ọmọ jẹ́. ìlú ṣe rí náà ó wà lára ẹ̀ náà, tí bàbá bá ti jí lọ láti aago 5 àárọ̀ tí ìyá náà ti jí gba tẹ̀ lọ tó jẹ́ pé ìgbà tí wọ́n jẹ oúnjẹ alẹ́ nìkan ni wọ́n wọlé, ẹlòmíì níjọ́ tó ti gbọ́ ọmọ ẹ̀ lójú ọ̀sán lójúmọmọ ó ti pẹ́. tó bẹ́ẹ̀ àwọn ọ̀bàjẹ́ máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí pinyìnkì sínú ọdẹ ni pé ìgbà tá a bá wá sọ pé a ṣàkíyèsí sí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ìgbà, ẹlòmíì ìgbà tó bá ti fẹ̀yìntì lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ láwá nígbà irú àwọn òbí níbí
ó ti
gan pé gbogbo ìgbà níbi iṣẹ́ tó wọn ò rí bí rójú tó wọn àwọn ọmọ ti ya pàpà.
ẹ ṣeun gan ni bàbá wa, irú àwọn nǹkan báyìí kò kúkú ní kọ́ọ̀gùn sí wa lágbára lọ́wọ́ Aláwùrábí. ẹ ṣe inú mi dùn, ẹ náà sọ bàbá ní pé ń gbèjẹ́ pé àfẹ́júmọ́ ọmọkọ́mọ tó jí bàbá ti jí jáde, ìyá gan tó ti jí jáde, nígbà bá tó dé lálẹ́ ní ọ̀lẹ́ tó máa dé welcome mommy mom. Ọlọ́run ọ̀ṣà ti ẹ̀ ṣàánú wa. bàbá ẹ ṣe gan ni tá a pè yín tí ẹ jẹ́ wa, àdúpẹ́. ilé àti ọ̀nà yín kò ní í dàrú, ẹ ṣe sà. ẹ jẹ́ n padà sí ọ̀dọ̀ màmá wa, ẹ̀yin náà ti gbọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ yín torí ẹ̀yin lẹ kọ́kọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ iléèwé, àwọn nǹkan wo lẹ rí tẹ́yin fi sọ bẹ́ẹ̀?
ẹ ṣe àtọkùn.
torí ẹ sọ pé àwọn òbí gan-an
tá a bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní sọ̀rọ̀ nípa àwọn ohun táwọn ọmọ ń ṣe ń sìn tó jẹ́ pé a mọ̀ pé òbí gan òbí mi rí ṣùgbọ́n wọ́n gbójú kúrò ńbẹ̀, wọ́n pọ̀ jantirẹrẹ, ṣùgbọ́n màá yànnàná méjì mẹ́ta nínú ẹ̀.
ẹ ṣe.
eléyìí tó ń jẹ èmi nífun lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí òun ni eléyìí tó ń pè ní yahoo yahoo.
Ọlọ́run ṣàánú wa, owó tí ì ṣe tiẹ̀ tó ń pani lẹ́kún.
ṣe rí yahoo yahoo kò wá dúró lórí àwọn ọmọ tó ń ṣe nìkan mọ́, ó ti fọ́n lọ, ó ti sún lọ sí orí àwọn tó kéré sí wọn àtàwọn tó yí wọn ká. ẹ mọ̀ pé ọmọ tí ó wà nílé tí ẹ tọ́ tí ẹ fojú sí, àbọ̀mọ tẹ́ ẹ gbé fóònù lé lọ́wọ́ pé ó dáa mo ti lọ síbi iṣẹ́ mo fẹ́ máa bá ẹ sọ̀rọ̀, ọmọ yìí dẹ̀ ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní lo ẹ̀rọ yìí láti máa ṣe oríṣiríṣi.
ṣe nǹkan míì.
ẹ gbé fóònù lé ọmọ lọ́wọ́, ẹ wò dáadáa, ẹ mọ́nítọ̀ ẹ̀. tóbi bá gbé fóònù lé ọmọ lọ́wọ́ èèyàn gbọ́dọ̀ máa yẹ̀ wò lóòrèkóòrè, ibẹ̀ ló ti ń bẹ̀rẹ̀. ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ òbí torí bí àwùjọ wa ṣe rí àti eré àtijẹ àti mu bí bàbá wa ṣe sọ, ó ti fún ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ilé ká tó dẹ̀ wá ó ń dènà de ìwà àti ní ìwà tó dáa pẹ̀lú àwọn ọmọ wa yìí. nǹkan burúkú gbà tó ń affect iléèwé wa lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ ni.
orí ọ̀rọ̀ fóònù tẹ́ ń sọ yìí àwọn iṣẹ́ àmúrelé tíṣà ni wọ́n fún wọn.
ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ wọn ń lò fún iṣẹ́ àmúrelé.
wọn ò lò fún iṣẹ́ àmúrelé yẹn ń wọ̀.
díẹ̀ nínú wọn ló ń lò fún iṣẹ́ àmúrelé. torí pé mọ̀ pé fóònù tá à ń sọ yìí ó lágbára gan.
ó ní agbára.
ó lè ba nǹkan jẹ́ ó lè tún nǹkan ṣe.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
ṣùgbọ́n èyí tó bàjẹ́ ń bẹ lọ́wọ́ báyìí ló pọ̀ jù.
ló ń ṣàánú wa.
tẹ́ bá gbé fóònù lé ọmọ lọ́wọ́ tí ẹ fojú sí tẹ́ ẹ máa wò ní lóòrèkóòrè kíá àwọn nǹkan tó wò ń bẹ̀ ó ti kúrò lórí tẹ́ ẹ ní kó wò bóyá ó ń ṣèṣirò lọ́wọ́ ó ti kúrò lórí ẹ̀ ó ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní wo oríṣiríṣi nǹkan míì ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ òbí ni òmọ̀pọ̀ ọmọ òun ti ń wo báwọn àgbàlagbà ṣe ń bára wọn sùn láti bí ọmọ ọdún 10
lórí fóònù.
ń gbọ́ bá máa dé yunifásitì la máa sọ pé ọmọ mi ṣì wà níbàálẹ̀ ọmọ gan yín mú sóbì pébi tó jẹ́ pé oyún tí mo ti ṣẹ́ gan kò lóǹkà.
kí lọ́nà àbáyọ ìyá mi ọ̀nà àbáyọ.
ṣẹ́rí ọ̀nà àbáyọ yẹn
ó ti bà débì kan kò bàjẹ́ ó bà débì kan.
ó bà ní kò bàjẹ́
kò bàjẹ́.
àtúnṣe dẹ̀ ṣì wà.
ẹ ṣe ọ̀nà àbáyọ.
tí a bá padà sí kí gbogbo ojú máa tọ́ ọmọ ṣùgbọ́n ẹ mọ̀ pé àwùjọ wa ti di nǹkan míì sìn
bẹ́ẹ̀ni
pẹ̀lú ká gbọ́mọ ọlọ́mọ ká lọ fi ṣògùn oríṣiríṣi nǹkan ló ti wà láwùjọ ń sìn tí ò sí tẹ́lẹ̀ tí ò wọ́pọ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ so èèyàn náà ojúlára kan wá gẹ́gẹ́ bí òbí sì gbọ́dọ̀ máa fi ṣọ́rí níbi tá a bá ti sọ pé à ń bọ́ ọlọ́mọ tọ́mọ ẹ̀ àbí ẹlòmíì ń bá wa fojú sí ọmọ wa a gbọ́dọ̀ tún ṣọ́ra a gbọ́dọ̀ ṣọ́ra ṣùgbọ́n a ò gbọ́dọ̀ sọ pé kí lágbájá má bá mi bá ọmọ mi wí.
wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ bá ọmọ
bẹ́ẹ̀
wí
ni
pé kó bá wa tọ́mọ papọ̀ gbogbo ojú ni kó bá wa tọ́mọ.
máa tọ́mọ then àwọn òbí gan fúnra wa a gbọ́dọ̀ pinnu pé ọmọ tí mo bí yìí èmi ni mo ṣọlọ́kọ̀ ẹ̀ wá sáyé èmi ni mo ní kó wá sáyé mo gbọ́dọ̀ tọ́ sí ọ̀nà
tó dára
tó jẹ́ pé àwọn nǹkan tí mo gbé kalẹ̀ àwọn nǹkan tí mo ti ṣe láyé á lè máa tọ ipa ẹ̀ kò ní ba wọ́n ní ọmọ tí a kò tọ́ ló ń gbé ilé tí a kọ́ tà tó jẹ́ pé ilé tí mo kọ́ ọmọ ò ní wá gbé tà.
àmì Ọlọ́run.
ìwà àti ìṣe wa ó ṣe pàtàkì.
ó ṣe pàtàkì.
tí ìwà wa bá tọ̀nà tí ìwà wa bá mú ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ bí mo ṣe sọ tẹ́lẹ̀ ẹlòmíà ní òun ò lọ́nà míì ju bóun ṣe ń ṣe yìí lọ ṣùgbọ́n ókè owó tó ń gbà kò tó tọ́ ọmọ.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
jẹ́ kí ọmọ yẹn kó yé pé ìwọ̀nba tó ní lágbára lélẹ̀ kó lè manage kó ní ìtẹ́lọ́rùn ju pé kò wá ní ẹbí nígbà tí owó tí mò ń gbà lóṣù kò ju 30,000 lọ nígbà tó dẹ̀ ń ṣe yahoo yìí ó ti mú mílíọ̀nù wálé ó ti tún lé ṣe ó ti ṣe gbá ó ti ṣàwo inú Ọlọ́run ò lè dò sí ẹ̀ ń ba yí ọmọ yẹn jẹ́ ni.
ẹ ṣe ìyá wa adúpẹ́ wọ́n ní
òbí gbọ́dọ̀ pinnu láti tọ́ ọmọ.
òbí tó bá lóun fẹ́ jẹ oúnjẹ ọmọ nígbà tí ò bá tí ì tó wọ́n nígbà tí ìyá ọmọ yìí bá dé ẹ mọ̀jọ jẹ́ ni ọmọ kan ni wọ́n sọ táyà sí lọ́rùn ó ní ẹ dúró ẹ mọ̀ tí táyà sí ẹ kọ́kọ́ gbé òun lọ síwájú ilé ìyá òun ojúwe ilé ìyá ẹ̀ wọ́n gbé débẹ̀ ó ní ó yẹ ju táyà sí ó ní ẹ pè ìyá òun jáde wọ́n pè ó ní yẹ ju táyà sí òun lọ́rùn láti bẹ̀. ṣe ti gbọ́ ṣe ni pé ìyá yẹn jọ oúnjẹ ọmọ ó jẹ́ dáadáa àbí ò jẹ́ ni kọ́lọ́ ń ṣàánú fún wa ìyá wa ọ̀nà àbáyọ ni pé n tá a bá ti ń ṣe òun làwọn ọmọ yìí ń wò ẹ jẹ́ ká ṣe dáadáa ẹni gẹ́gẹ́ bí bàbá Bọ́lárìnwá àti màmá Adésádà tí wọ́n ti ṣàlàyé fún wa ní àárọ̀ yìí òun náà wá ní wípé kí gbogbo wa pátápátá ká ṣọ́ra ṣe olórin yẹn ti kọ ó ní ìtẹ́lọ́rùn ni bàbá ìwà màmá wa ẹ bá wa kí dáàdì ẹ ṣe gan ni inú wa dùn tí a pè yín tẹ́ ẹ jẹ́ wa ṣùgbọ́n àsìkò tó ẹ tún padà wá sórí ètò yìí o àwọn èèyàn wa gbádùn yín first lady
thank you very much I really desire that they will once again make it a day
àwọn méjèèjì
on the show.
Yes.
I want to appreciate Mr. Abolariwa Olatunbosun for your time on the program, and also our mother, the gorgeous looking one, Mrs. Esther Adesada. Thank you very much for your time on the program. We really don't have much time. We have to go now. Otherwise, I still have my questions loaded to ask you. But I want to appreciate everyone who made today's production a successful one. Enjoy the rest of your weekend out there and have a fantastic week ahead. Anita Buhari is my name. I remain yours sincerely.
adúpẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run ti sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan mo ní ìtẹ́lọ́rùn òun náà ní gbogbo ń tá a bá ń ṣe ẹ jẹ́ ká fi ìtẹ́lọ́rùn àti ìwà rere sí títí ọ̀sẹ̀ tó ń bọ̀ ó ṣe eré ni.